Welcome to Top Advisor Marketing, where you will learn how to become a prolific online influencer, attract more ideal clients, and grow your practice. Brought to you by Top Advisor Podcasting, a done-for-you podcasting solution built just for trusted advisors. And now, your co-hosts of Top Advisor Marketing, Kirk Lowe and Matt Halloran.
Welcome to the Top Advisor Marketing Podcast. I'm Kirk Lowe. We're changed up a little bit here today. Usually it's wonderful Matt Halloran guiding the show, but today I've asked to take over and try one on my own. And Matt is sitting back crossing his fingers, of course, because I'm no radio personality, but I'm going to do my best here today. So I've got an amazing guest with me today. He's the founder and president of ReminderMedia. You can check out his site at remindermedia.com. And our guest is Luke Acree. Did I say that right?
So it's actually Acree, but I've been called Acree my whole life, so no issues there at all. Although some people call me Acree, so it's either Acree or Acree. I never usually get Acree. No one usually hits Acree.
As the saying goes, if that's the worst you've ever been called, then you're in good shape.
Yeah, seriously, man.
Yes, my name is Kirk Lowe, and nobody really ever messes it up unless they heard somebody say it. But speaking it, they're good. I do get Lowy once in a while.
That's what I'm going to call you this whole podcast, Kirk Lowy.
You should. Yeah. You should. Because that's the second time at least I've mispronounced your name.
Probably. I've been on the show before, so I figured you guys were doing it on purpose by now,
Yeah, probably. Tricky like that. So we're going to talk about relationship marketing today, and the title of this one is How to Get People Talking About You. And Luke and I probably met about a year and a half ago, and he sent me a sample of his product / service. And I know you guys have grown from that extensively. A little bit in your product line, mostly in just how many people are taking up your product and your services and your thinking. But tell us a little bit, in a nutshell, tell us about your business. And I'll tell you that when I first saw it, I was blown away. In fact, I still recite things that were in that magazine. I just let the cat out of the bag. But
yeah, that's okay. That's the whole point. It made such an impression or an impact with you. It built that mind share. So, I'll give, everybody kind of the 30,000-foot view. The company's ReminderMedia. We've been at this for almost 16 years now. And, our whole core belief, because I think it's always appropriate to tell people kind of what you believe before you tell them what you actually do. My belief is that in any business, but especially in the service-based sales industry, so that would be financial advisors, insurance agents, real estate agents, your business is built off of how well you can build and keep relationships. Like, that is the centralized belief of ReminderMedia. And so as we looked at the market years and years ago, it was, how do we help small business owners, service-based sales professionals? This year we'll work with about 40,000. And that's a mixture of real estate agents, insurance agents, financial advisors, but actually it spreads across 140 different industries. But how do we help you with what I believe is the most critical thing in your business? How do you keep in touch with your clients in your database in a way that doesn't just keep them as clients, but creates raving fans out of them, gets them talking about you? Because ultimately what you're trying to do is you're trying to build a mind share with them that when they think of your expertise, whether it's your financial advisor, because I know that's a lot of your audience, when they think finance, they think Luke. How do you get your clients to think that way and then also be a raving fan of you so they refer you out to their friends and family? Because, the best and most solid way to build your business is word of mouth referral, is by repeat business, not losing the clients you currently have. Everybody tends to know this when I tell them it. There's very, very few people as I travel around the country, as I do podcasts like this, that when I tell them, hey, you need to build strong relationships with your client database, you need to create raving fans out of them so if they refer you and they use you again, everybody looks at me and goes, duh, of course. But when I look at what business owners actually do, what they tend to do is they tend to spend the majority of their time, energy, and money chasing new business, chasing lead generation, you might call it, which is not bad in and of itself. and they don't focus actually first and foremost on the relationships they have. And what I have found is that the top producers always have spent such a, whether it's their time, their energy, and money, but the majority of what they have on the relationships they currently have, which ends up leading, to them getting referrals, them growing their practice or their firm. We've done this through our product, what you mentioned, Kirk, which is American Lifestyle Magazine, was our flagship product. And basically, to summarize it for everybody, it's a 48-page coffee table publication. But the unique thing is we make it look like you, the financial advisor, put the publication together. So think of like white labeling a magazine. We produce this beautiful coffee table publication that you can send to your clients as a gift. It looks like you created it, your pictures on the front, your contact information. You can customize it to the individual you send it to. So you could write a personal letter on the inside of the magazine to one of your specific clients about a certain event in their life, whether it be a marriage, an anniversary, a birthday, whatever you want it to do there. It's been extremely successful for us because when we've looked back now at our kind of track record and our history, what we've seen is that the magazine is a cost-effective way to hit your database consistently. So it goes out every 2 months. But on the flip side, which is the most important from a marketing standpoint, to get people talking about you, it creates impact. Meaning when people pull it out of their mailbox, they kind of have the experience that you had, Kirk, where they remember it. They think it's impressive. They put it on their coffee table. It is not uncommon. I was at a Waddell and Reed conference not too long ago in Georgia, and I had one of my clients come up to me and said, hey, at first when he was going to send this magazine out, he was a little bit concerned because he has a bunch of CEO clients in his book of business. He thought they were going to, make fun of him, and he ended up sending it out. He got 2 phone calls from CEO clients where they called him up and he thought they were going to basically bust his balls. I'm not sure if I should say that on the podcast, but he thought they were going to actually make fun of him. And they actually said, dude, we love the recipes in the magazine. So he laughed, thought that was great. But even better than that, this same client goes, Luke, I had a client frame the magazine that I sent them. They framed it and they brought it into my office and said, oh, you're on a magazine. I framed it for you. So that's what we hear all the time. It creates that impact, which bringing it full circle to why we started the company was if you can create impact, it means people are going to remember you. And it definitely, if you create impact in a positive light, if you create impact in a positive light, if they remember you, and if people remember you, statistically speaking, it's like 76% of the time you will use the first business that pops into your mind. So if I say airlines, who do you think of right now as you're listening to this podcast? 76% of the time, you're going to choose the first business that pops into your mind. And so you have to be number one in the mind of your clients and the minds of the people in your community to really have a significant chance to get their business. And so we're one avenue. We've since expanded. We have another publication that focuses on health. If you think your clients would like health more, still the same idea. We have a digital magazine now. We have social media now that we're doing. So we've expanded from there. But the whole concept is we want to build the mind share the mind share for you in the minds of your clients. We want to help strengthen that relationship because we know if we put you and your clients at the forefront of their mind, they'll think about you and they'll ultimately use you again or refer you out. And that's really been our journey over the last 16 years is really trying to fine tune that and become the experts on that in our industry.
That was a big nutshell. I'm just calling you out on that, having some fun with you.
Yeah, man, no, exactly. Yeah, hey, man, if you're going to give me a chance to talk, I just kind of run with it.
He just gave me the floor. Let me tell you.
Yeah, let me just lay it down for you. No.
I think the most, I was thinking as you were talking about the cover, and when I talk to people about when they do a white paper, I say the cover and the fact that you have a white paper on your website is probably 90% of the value of writing a white paper. Because right away they see, oh, this person's written a white paper. They must be smart. They're smart, dedicated, all those things dialed in, right? But what I love about the magazine is I found that when I opened it up and started, when I experienced the quality of the writing, the topics, the people, the stories, I was even more blown away than I was with the cover. And that's what I thought was where the real experience started to happen, is because I really wanted to I looked forward to getting to the next story. And I think when we talk about being memorable, that's memorable, right? Like enjoying what you're getting. So seeing somebody on the cover, right now, that's talk worthy, but experiencing it, that's memorable. So you got two wonderful things going on. And like you said, when somebody has to recall who they're going to talk about, and you're memorable, right? Then you're the person they're going to talk about.
No, you're hitting the nail on the head. Exactly. Not only is it memorable when they pull it out, but the experience is actually good. And you're actually hitting on a key point to why it works. And I think it's a valuable point probably for everybody listening from a marketing standpoint, is it really isn't salesy. It's not a salesy piece that you're sending to your audience or your client base. And what I mean by salesy is you're not pushing a product on them or something like that. It is really gift-oriented or really entertainment for the client. And that's really hard for myself included as a business owner to do, is send something where you're not trying to sell something right away. But that's one of the keys, right? That's one of the keys of building relationships is just giving value.
And if you've ever talked to a financial advisor, which you've talked to lots of them, it's really hard for financial advisors, just like it probably is real estate agents, just like it would be doctors, just like it would be lawyers, to get out of their own heads. What I mean by that is they think that the only thing their customer will value, their clients will value from them, is them saying something about what they know. But it's not true. We're trying to get advisors to talk more about lifestyle stuff on their podcasts, because clients will value that. You don't just have to talk about what you know. You can talk about life, right? And with real estate, life is there. Like, life is a huge part of where you move, why you're buying it, why you're selling it. So why not talk about life?
100%. And what you'll find, and this is one of my pet peeves that I've been sharing lately as I talk to people, is just, look, if you want to survive today, as technology changes everything and as robo-advisors become more and more prevalent, and technology allows consumers to get access to information they didn't have before, the key is going to be how well you build a relationship with somebody. And I really, really have found that, with advisors, the best ones are the advisor you see as your friend, the guy you're going to have a beer with, the guy you'll go fly fishing with, not just someone who processes a transaction for you or handles your money. Though you want them to be the authority on that subject matter, of course you do. But I've always encouraged my financial advisors and the real estate agents that I have the privilege to talk to, is I say, look, there's no relationship in your life where you just focus on one thing and have a super strong relationship. It doesn't happen in your marriage, doesn't happen in your friendships. You have to encapsulate so much more than just the one thing that you're an expert on. And a really good tactic to do this for financial advisors from a business standpoint is you think of the Ford method, which Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So do you have in your database, in your CRM, and how you're following up with people, when you call Luke, your client today, how's he doing with his family? How's he doing at work with his occupation? How is, his hobbies? When you think of recreation, that's his hobbies. What's going on in his life hobby-wise? Is he a big fisher? Does he love music? What is he doing? And then last but not least, his dreams. And his dreams are awesome because it's where he wants to go. And what ties in for you as a financial advisor? Well, you're helping them obtain the future they want, whether it's the future in retirement or the future in their money investment-wise. Like, you can help them obtain some of those dreams that he's after. So when you think about your client from a holistic perspective that way, from this Ford-type methodology, it really helps you build the relationship, but then it also helps you market to them, because you can send them relevant things that really connect with them, i.e. you call the client up you sent the magazine to that one of their recreations is biking. When the article in the magazine has to do with biking, you call them up and say, hey, Luke, let's check in, see how you're doing. By the way, man, there was a great article on biking that I sent you in my last magazine. Want to see if you got it, if you liked it. It made me think of you because I know you love biking. Like, you connect those dots, and that creates so much impact, which, again, the impact is what leads to the mind share and ultimately referrals.
That's right. There's a lot of advisors these days who are really trying to find more purpose in how they offer their services. And lifestyle planning, and how do people, helping people pursue purpose with their wealth is a huge part. I mean, most of the advisors that we work with are of that mindset. Some of them go to different lengths to ingrain that or to put it in their practices. But the truth is that when you're introducing lifestyle and dreams and goals, and you're introducing things that either that they've already identified that they're interested in, or stuff that they've never thought of that they might be. And that's what helping people plan for retirement is all about. It's not just retirement, though. It's just planning to have a better life. How do I position my wealth? I can't tell you how many times I've heard of financial advisors say that the client that they're working with has enough money to do things that they want to do, and they don't think they do, so therefore they put it off, and they put it off, and they put it off. That's a crazy. I mean, there's probably a lot of people saying, "Yeah, geez, I wish that was me." But the fact that it's happening, maybe you don't have to wish that was you, because if you're living and you're not, that's the most important thing, right? But the people who have all this wealth and don't know how to live, so if you can help them move forward on that and introduce ideas and thoughts to them, or reinforce the fact that they're living life, those are wonderful things as a financial advisor.
100% agree. And I have found, like, I went to the LPL conference, and one of the big things that I was hearing constantly was this idea of health and wealth. So the idea of helping people from their financial health, but also their physical health, and tying that whole aspect together has been really powerful from a marketing standpoint, a really connection standpoint for financial advisors with their clients, kind of that holistic type approach. Now, you're not a doctor, and I'm not advocating that you become a doctor and from the standpoint of the health, but when you think about it as the whole, you're thinking about it as the person, and you're killing two birds with one stone. Is you're killing the first bird, which is, how do I solidify the client that I have now? So especially for all the advisors who have, a family as a client, meaning you have a husband and a wife, how to make sure you solidify the relationship with both the husband and the wife. So if the husband passes away, the wife doesn't move the money, which statistically happens way more than you would think it would. How do you solidify that? Well, this focusing on the greater picture will help you do that. And then second, what gets you a referral? What gets you a referral so often is when you go and do the unexpected, or you have a deeper connection with somebody than just doing the money. It gets you a referral when you actually have a relationship with that person, because they feel so much more comfortable, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to refer their friend to you. Giving a referral to somebody that's a good referral, it takes a lot of trust to do that, because you're fearful that the person's going to mess it up. So 9 times out of 10, a lot of times people give so-so referrals, or not the greatest referrals. And you have to build such trust to get the referrals. When you focus on the holistic aspect from a marketing standpoint, you're just solidifying your relationship with them, and it's so powerful. They trust you as a friend, not just a financial advisor.
I got a great story that came up actually within the last couple of days. And that's I think it's a perfect segue, because you're talking about people trying to be memorable and create moments or experiences in your relationship with them so that you become more referable because you're different. So recently I came across this video from an advisor, and I don't know, I don't remember what intrigued me to click play. I think he talked about hugs in the highlight or the social text. Anyway, so I clicked this video.
The financial advisor talked about hugs?
Yeah, so this advisor is talking on his homepage. Well, it was in social media, but I assume it was on his homepage. That was an assumption. But anyway, he's talking about his firm has such an intimate relationship with clients that it's not uncommon to get a hug from his team. And it was really interesting, because my visceral reaction was talking about hugging in your business seems creepy. He was not a creepy man. There was nothing weird. He seemed like a very nice, genuine person, a beautiful office, well-dressed. He looked, like a nice man. He did a great job in the video. The video crew did a wonderful job. It was really top-notch. But he talked about hugging, and then he went on about hugging and talked about how it happens organically, of course. I think he was joking, but he didn't break out in laughter, so I wasn't 100% sure. But I thought my first reaction was, this is kind of odd. And then I thought, who am I to judge? I've never tried a hug. My company hugs video. Maybe this will go viral. Maybe his clients get what that means because they've had moments with him, and they'll do it. But he's trying to look for a way to say, these are experiences. And I understand where he's coming from. He's saying, look, how do I differentiate myself? The truth is, I care so much about my clients. I love them dearly. I'm involved. I'm invested in their lives and caring about their children, their lives, their retirement, all those things, that I find I get to a place that's comfortable for me to give a hug to somebody who I consider a friend and somebody I care deeply about. And that's not a bad place. Maybe he could have had a little help articulating that. But the truth is he's working hard to try to find something to bring that experience that he has with his clients to the forefront. And in a way, you've got a different way of doing it, probably a more socially acceptable. I don't really know.
Well, what I love about that,
think, man?
Yeah, here's what I love about that, because I think it's super creative and super unique, and that's one of the keys when it comes to your marketing or something like that, is how do you intrigue someone's curiosity? And everybody's heard of clickbait marketing, right? There's a reason why we click on the clickbait titles and stuff like that. A lot of times, though, those clickbait titles tend to be too controversial, and you can't really use them in marketing from the standpoint of if you're a financial advisor trying to advertise or something like that. What I love about this hugging thing is it's super intriguing. What the heck, a financial advisor that's hugging somebody? Some people go down the road of that seems a little bit inappropriate. Others will go down the road of this is just crazy. But it will get you intrigued and it will get you to click on it. Then he can make obviously the association between clients that work with me basically feel like family, to the point of where we end up basically hugging, because that's how much, we have, or that's the great relationship that we have. So he's able to make that association. That's why I love it. Now, I don't know in terms of obviously his service and everything else he's doing, but I think he's spot on in trying to go to the humanistic side or trying to humanize himself. Like one of the things we do on the magazine is we teach advisors, especially around the holidays. So our next issue that's going out is our holiday issue. So you can get it to go out around Thanksgiving, or you can get it to go out around Christmas. We encourage them to put a picture of them and their family, or them and their pets if they don't have kids or they don't have a family, them and their pets, something that will humanize them on the cover of the magazine to their client base, just so their clients don't just see them as somebody that's in a suit that just deals with finances, that's maybe uptight and analytical, but someone that's actually a human too, that has a life, that because you want to build camaraderie. Tony Robbins talks about all the time, you got to get into a state of rapport with people. Everything you want out there in this world, someone else has. And how do you get them to give it to you? You got to get into a state of rapport with that person to where they want to actually give back to you. Rapport is a harmonious relationship where people are giving and taking from each other. And so if you can humanize yourself and have a way to connect, you're now not just the financial advisor, you're the financial advisor that has two kids. I didn't realize you had two kids. And I looked at somebody who has kids a lot differently. If I have kids myself, there's a sense of camaraderie there. So it allows you to connect with your clients. So I can see how valuable the hugging video would be. It'd be interesting to do a case study on that to see how many people thought it was absolutely crazy and how many people actually followed through on it. But I get, honestly what he's trying to do. And I think he did a great job in getting the intrigue.
So I want to go through some key points that your magazine helps with, which is really things that, our audience needs to understand and because you want to be trying to solve these things. So the first one is that it helps build relationships with families of clients. So it's not just about the client, but it's about, getting deeper, and that's building a better relationship, right? So that's the first one. The second one is it helps you stand out from the competition. Who's giving a lifestyle magazine with your picture, integrated into your practice? Nobody, right? Unless they're doing it with you. I've not seen any other ones anyway. And that's not true. Actually, I did meet somebody else that was doing magazines, and it wasn't.
Oh man, is someone ripping me off tonight?
Yeah, it wasn't even close. I remember the guy. He was a really nice guy, but the magazine was not even close to what you were sharing. The next one is, from a compliance standpoint, keep this really simple. Don't talk about financial planning. You're in good shape, right?
Yep.
And the next one, and maybe one of the most important ones, and this is all these points are actually on your website, which is where I got them from before our call, is retention. So advisors spend so much money, as you said, so much time and money, energy trying to get the next client. Spend more time on the people you have. Client communication is huge. We talk about that more and more now with our podcast because advisors get a ton of value out of just staying in touch with them. And I know that for us, the people that are already working with us, they're avid listeners of our podcast because they want to keep learning what we're doing and hear about all the other marketing vendors and professionals out there. And being generous and sharing is a huge part of that. But retention and sharing what you know and what other people in your network know, which is essentially what the magazine is, those are huge parts of growing a business, a viable business.
Yeah, and we've seen, we have a new study going on right now, but we hire a GFK. It's a research firm, basically, that surveys the magazine and does all the kind of auditing and everything like that to try to look at the ROI. And what we see is over the course of sending this for a year, we see an average of a 38% referral rate. So that would mean, let's just use example, 50 people you're sending it to over the course of a year. You should be seeing about a 38% referral rate out of that 50 people. Now, we train you and teach you how to go and get those referrals. Not all those referrals are going to close, right? If you get, let's say, 18, 19 referrals, not all those are going to close, but can you get 3 new accounts from that, 4 new accounts from that over the course of the year? Of course you can. And so that's kind of where we take our, to the next level of going, hey, it's about this client retention. It's about getting the referrals out of your clients to grow your book of business. And so we hire that firm, GFK, to kind of audit. We have a new one going on right now to get the latest stats. But that's currently what we know is about a 38% referral rate.
We've talked a little bit here today about relationship building, including retaining and then getting referrals, like getting people talking about you, which is one of the best ways to get referrals, obviously. But I'm interested in counteracting or talking about the other side of the coin, which is lead generation. Yes. Because so many advisors are focused on, getting that new customer. Like, I don't know them. There's so many people out there. How do I get them? And interesting. So I'm gonna ask you about your opinion, like how you might define leads and stuff like that. Before, I want to give you a stat from a study it's pretty old now, but it was 2008. But it was a really wonderful study. It was by a company called Quantivus, who are now defunct. But the study said that for advisors who have less than just under $1 million in GDC, so gross dealer concessions or gross revenue, 75% of their new business came from referrals. That's a huge number. And for advisors with over $1 million in production in revenue, 90% of so they were even better at getting referrals. And it strikes me that for advisors who are thinking, hey, I don't get enough referrals, so I got to find another way to get business, you need to figure out how to get more referrals too.
Yeah.
That is lead gen. In fact, that's way better than lead gen for a whole bunch of reasons. So give us some thoughts on how you might define lead gen and the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way I kind of always have looked at it from a coaching standpoint is I look at it kind of like a target where you have the bullseye in the center. Maybe you imagine like throwing darts. And on the outer rim of the target, you basically have your general public, people that you don't know, you don't have a relationship with. And I call them like basically anonymous. Like, you don't know them, they don't know you. And there's probably people in that general public, of course, that you want as clients, that are your ideal clients. And so the question is, how do you walk them through a funnel, you might call it, or through the stages of progression to where they go from the outer rim of the bullseye to the inner rim, which is ultimately, I say, is your advocates. And your advocates is really where the core of your business is going to be built from, which is people that become your raving fans that refer you, use you, all that good stuff. And so from the general public, the key is at that point is you might call the general public your leads, for lack of a better word, that you're trying to get your brand out to, that you're trying to get your message out in front of, and you're trying to take out of that general public your targeted audience. So from a marketing standpoint, you have the whole, let's just use King of Prussia, where I'm based. I could market to all of King of Prussia. I probably don't want to do that because ultimately I'm going to spend a ton of money and I don't really need to catch every fish in King of Prussia. I'm really looking to catch certain types of fish in King of Prussia. So I might be looking to catch fish who are worth $1 million or more, or whatever your target audience is of who you work with. I got to go find out where those people are. Where are those fish? Are they in a creek? Are they in a pond? Are they in an ocean? Where do I need to go fish? At that point, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to market. So for us, right, if you do that with us, we have a list builder tool that will allow you in King of Prussia to select people by demographics, select people by income level, select people by location, of course. And so there's demographic features you can use. There's geographic features in our list builder to send a direct mail piece to. You can do this on Facebook. If you're running Facebook ads, you can use Facebook's stuff to really target people, and you can run branding ads to them to try to top a funnel, get people to raise their hand, to go from basically a general public type, hey, I'm trying to hit this target audience at the general public to get them to raise their hand so I can lead them down this nurture funnel. And the next phase for me is an acquaintance stage where I'm not sure that I'm going to get their business, but I got to introduce myself and I got to get them from not knowing anything about me to being an acquaintance. And then from there, I take them to what I call is the friendship stage, where I want to actually get them to know me and like me. And so if I kind of build it on the backbone of relationships, it's about getting known, liked, and trusted. So I got to get the general public and my target audience to know me. I got to get them to like me. And I got to get them to know, like, and now finally trust me, which is taking them from the friendship stage into really the relationship stage, where they have a relationship with me, where they're doing business with me. And then ultimately from the relationship stage, I want to get them to the center of the bullseye. And I wish I could show you guys this. I know we're on an audio podcast, but if you think of it in terms of like the target, you got the general public to an acquaintance, from the acquaintance to the friendship, from the friendship to a relationship, from a relationship to an advocate. And you're taking them all the way down. And at the very center is obviously maybe only 20, 30, people in your client base that are going to be your raving fans. And that's how I kind of funnel down from a marketing perspective. And each of those rims in the bullseye or in the target has a different marketing tactic or methodology to it, where you're at the general public, you're doing more branding. At the acquaintance stage, you're doing still branding, but you're starting to funnel in your subject matter to solidify you as the marketing or as the expert in your area. At the friendship stage, you're now doing not only the subject matter, but you're also doing more the Ford methodology. At the relationship stage, you're doing product-based stuff. At the advocate stage, you're taking them out for a beer. You're taking them fishing, those type of ideas. So I know that's a huge, I'll kind of shut up there, Kirk, for you, but that's kind of how I think about leads and the funnel.
I was kind of teeing up the idea that that advisors, that more than I think ought to, and I want your feedback and thoughts on this, more than I think ought to focus more on leads than they do referrals, because they feel like leads is what they need. But referrals are really the same thing. It's just a different engine to get there. And it's a closer, like what you just talked about, you shared the difference between a referral and a lead is typically the lead is a lot of work in between, right? That lead
you have to take them down the whole funnel. You have to go from the general public all the way down to that advocate stage.
Yes.
Which
so
is
if you're thinking about leads, you have to be ready to invest in the whole lead funnel process. You got to have it all thought out, from the list to all the drip, the nurture sequence, the points, everything in between, right? With the referral side, it's just being referable, getting people to talk about you. You can still have processes to do that, but the best people, there's plenty of advisors who are, they can talk about, people are talking about you referable, and it's just happened organically. You can add, I guess, process or protocols on, in place when you're in your meetings, saying, hey, do you know anybody? Find an eloquent way to do that. But for the most part, it's a much different approach to doing it. And I'm curious, how many of the most successful advisors that focus more on leads versus referrals? Or can you do that?
I don't know, like, numbers wise, because we haven't done necessarily studies from a statistic standpoint. Here's what I'll tell you from my experience, right? From my talking to, and I will extend it past financial advisors. Let's talk multiple industries, because we have thousands of real estate agents that use us. We have tons of insurance agents and tons of financial advisors. Those are our three top industries. Every top producer I talk to, when you ask them where does the majority of their business come from, it always comes from what you call maybe your SOI, your sphere of influence, or it's another way to say referrals. It's from your relationships. it always 100% of the time comes from the relationships. That's what they tell me over and over and over again. And if you go and look at the coaches in every industry, what you'll find is a consistent, I mean, you're hearing it on this podcast too, but you'll find coaches consistently come back to the best and most effective way to grow your business is through referral, which means what they're really saying, if you want to extend that out, is through relations, through your sphere of influence, through the people you have a relationship with now that know you, like you, and trust you. That is the most effective way because, like you just pointed out, it's so much cheaper in the long run, takes less time usually. The clients that you get through referral are usually easier to work with because they're coming from clients that you like, and birds of a feather flock together. So in all avenues, it's way more cost effective for you and easier for you to go after referral. But our problem is referrals take a different type of mindset because it's a relationship mindset, not an instant gratification or not a direct response, I should say is a better way to say it, mindset.
A big part of that, Luke, I believe, is that advisors think that referrals is a passive process. And if it's active, they think the only active process is asking for a referral. But those aren't the right way to think of it.
That's a great point.
How do you get people talking about you? Get a magazine. Start a podcast, do events, talk about other things, really about lifestyle, be memorable, be in front of people all the time. And that's one of the things that advisors struggle mightily with is finding the time and having the patience and maybe even being good at figuring out how to share all the time. And what each of us does helps solve that. I think our products, to be quite honest, are incredibly synergistic. I haven't mentioned that, but that is one of the reasons that I love chatting with you when we get a chance to do it. I think we have to do this again. When you and I are just shooting the breeze, a better way to say that than my first. Yeah. We share a lot of what's going on in the industry, a lot of what advisors are facing, and we talked about a lot of that today. So I'm hoping we can do this again and have I'll come up with these conversational questions. But today we went through some really neat stuff about how to get people talking about you and understanding that it's not just financial planning. And that is being different and doing something different and being outside of the box is more memorable with your clients, right? Do you have any 100%. Any last thoughts? Maybe you can talk a little bit about people can learn more about what you're doing. I know that you do have an offer on your site. Maybe you want to share that with our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously would love to have the opportunity to talk to each and every one of you or have the chance even to work with you and let you experience kind of what we're doing for advisors. So we have thousands of advisors that are using us now. And you guys can go to remindermedia.com and you can learn about what we're doing. We are running a promotion right now where you can get, basically a couple $100 off for trying this for the holiday mailer. So it's a perfect time to try it because you're killing two birds with one stone. You get to try this and experience kind of all we have to offer, but also you get to take care of having something to send your clients at the holiday season that's super unique. It's different. You're not going to end up on the mantle with all the other holiday cards that they're getting. This is something that they'll actually bring into their home. So many testimonials we get are of advisors sending it to their clients. Their clients end up making some of the recipes in the magazine for their holiday get-togethers. So it's a way for you guys to kind of experience it there. And I would love to give you guys even a tangible, even if you don't go to remindermedia.com, you don't want to use, our products or something like that. I'm super passionate about giving actionable tips that will help you in your business. A free actionable tip that I will give you today is pull out your phone this afternoon or whenever you're caught listening to this podcast and literally go through your contacts. You don't have to pick everybody in your contacts. Pick some people in your contacts and literally shoot them a quick message, preferably your clients, and just say, hey, thinking about you today. Hope you're doing well. And trust me, watch how you'll start conversations with these clients and it will make them feel good. It's a free, besides your time, super easy thing to do that so few people take advantage of. And if you just structure in your day sending 10 text messages to your clients a day, just checking in with them, seeing how they're doing, you'll see how powerful that is. That gets the conversation going, and you'll learn so much about your clients, and you'll have an opportunity to ask for referrals as well in those conversations. It will come naturally. So this is a free thing that I wanted to suggest to everybody to take advantage of.
Sounds great. Thanks so much for spending the time with us and giving us all the wonderful info on building relationships, getting people talking about you, setting yourself apart, staying top of mind, retaining clients, all those things. We're all a huge part of having a great marketing strategy for your practice, no matter what industry you're in. So today we finished up talking with Luke Acree. Oh my goodness, from ReminderMedia, and I'm Kirk Lowe. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. Go to our website. We've got all kinds of downloadable white papers and interesting things in our resource library. And make sure you tell people about this podcast if you're learning anything at all. We'll be back on the next episode with our good friend Matt Halloran. And thanks for your time today. And as Matt says, see you on the other side of the mic. Have a great day.
Are you ready to change the way you communicate with your clients? Are you tired of being the best kept secret in your area? Learn how to become a prolific online influencer, attract more ideal clients, and grow your business. Contact us today and see what the power of podcasting can do for your business. Click on the Contact Us link on our website at topadvisormarketing.com and set up a call to learn more. Follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook for more updates and information.
This was brought to you by Iris.xyz, a platform helping financial professionals become better in business and life through new media and new voices. Visit them and learn more at iris.xyz.